This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba, and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari initiates simultaneous blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh. Tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity between Srinagar Valley and Leh. Anti-pollution measures under Graded Response Action Plan come into force in Delhi NCR region. Indian pharma sector can grow to a $65 billion industry by 2024, says Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister. Nation pays tribute to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his birth anniversary. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 87.36%. And in IPL cricket, Royal challenges Bangalore to take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah this evening. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now on to the news in detail. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari initiated the first blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir today. The blast took place at Neelagarh at West Portal in J&K and Spangla Meena Marg at East Portal in Ladakh. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gadkari said that the government has saved a huge sum of money during the implementation of the project.
इस टनल के काम में हमारे विभाग के सभी अधिकारियों के और सभी लोगों के प्रयासों के कारण हमने करीब 4,000 करोड़ रुपए की बचत भी की है। भारत के जनता के 4,000 करोड़ बचाए हैं और आशिया की सबसे बड़ी टनल का निर्माण का कार्य का शुभारंभ हुआ है। ये निश्चित रूप से आज बहुत ही गौरव का क्षण है।
The tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity between Srinagar Valley and Leh on NH1 and will bring about an all-round economic and socio-cultural integration of Jammu and Kashmir. It involves construction of a 14.15-kilometer long tunnel at an altitude of about 3,000 meters under Zojila Pass on NH1, connecting Srinagar and Leh through Dras and Kargil. The ministry said that it is one of the most dangerous stretch in the world to drive a vehicle, and this project is also geostrategically sensitive. Our correspondent reports that in Kargil, people are happy after the ceremonial blast for the construction of Zojila Tunnel. The Chief Executive Councillor of LAHTC, Kargil, Firoz Ahmad Khan, said, construction of a tunnel at Zojila is a 70-year-old demand of the people of Kargil for all-weather connectivity to Ladakh region. He expressed hope that the tunnel will play a key role in the development of the region and will also boost the tourism sector in the region by opening winter tourism avenues in Kargil district. It will also provide a shorter route to the holy Amarnath cave. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar today flagged off 50 Central Pollution Control Board or CPCB teams for pollution control in Delhi and NCR. The teams will visit Noida, Ghaziabad and Meerut in Uttar Pradesh, Gurugram, Faridabad, Ballabgarh, Jhajjar, Panipat, Sonipat in Haryana, and Bhiwadi, Alwar, Bharatpur in Rajasthan. These teams will do spot reporting of major air polluting sources like construction activities, dumping of garbage and construction waste, burning of garbage and industrial waste in open areas with the use of Sameer app. The data will be shared with the concerned agencies through an automated system for speedy action. These teams will specifically focus on hotspot areas where the problem is aggravated. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Javadekar said that only around 4 to 5% air pollution is attributable to stubble burning, rest are local factors. He urged the Punjab government to ensure that the stubble is not burnt.
अभी 2 महीने घूमते रहेंगे, 50 टीमें 50 गाड़ियों में घूमेगी, जगह जगह जाएगी, जहां बर्निंग हो रहा है वो भी नोट करेगी, जहां धूल उड़ रही है वो भी नोट करेगी, जो समीर ऐप पे कंप्लेंट्स आते हैं वो भी नोट करेंगे और उसके साथ साथ जो वेस्ट प्रबंधन ठीक नहीं हो रहा है तो उसका भी जायजा लेंगे। कंस्ट्रक्शन डिमोलिशन जहां चल रहा है वहां भी देखेंगे और ये सब आपको अधिकार है कानूनी कि आप इसके खिलाफ रिपोर्ट देंगे तो उस पर सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करेंगे। उन एजेंसियों को कहेंगे जिनको ये कार्रवाई करना है।
Meanwhile, anti-pollution measures under the Graded Response Action Plan or GRAP has come into force from today in the Delhi NCR region. The Delhi government has banned the use of electricity generators except those needed for essential or emergency services in the national capital.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today launched a campaign, Red Light On, Gaadi Off, to tackle air pollution in the national capital. Briefing reporters, Mr. Kejriwal said that there are 1 crore vehicles registered in the city. He urged people to switch off their vehicles while waiting on a traffic signal. Mr. Kejriwal said if a person starts switching off his vehicle at the red light, he can save 7,000 rupees in a year.
एक्सपर्ट्स का कहना है कि जब हम रेड लाइट पे आइडलिंग करते हैं तो 1 मिनट में जितना ईंधन खर्च होता है वो अगर ड्राइविंग कर रहे होते हैं उससे ज्यादा खर्च होता है। तो अगर आप ऑफ कर दो और फिर ऑन करो, आपका फ्यूल भी काफी बचेगा, धुआं तो बचेगा ही बचेगा, पोल्यूशन तो कम होगा ही होगा, आपका ईंधन भी काफी बचेगा। और ऑन एन एवरेज एक गाड़ी रोज दफ्तर आने में जाने में मिला के 15 से 20 मिनट रेड लाइट पे बिताती है और उस 15 से 20 मिनट में एक गाड़ी लगभग 200 मिलीलीटर तेल की खपत करती है। और अगर आप ये गाड़ी ऑफ करना शुरू कर दो तो 7,000 रुपए साल के आपके बच सकते हैं।
Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister D.V. Sadananda Gowda said India is one of the largest manufacturers and exporters of generic medicines across the world. Addressing the Latin American and Caribbean session on reimagining distances through virtual mode, Mr. Gowda said Indian pharma sector can grow to a $65 billion industry by the year 2024. Referring to supply of HCQ and azithromycin for treatment of COVID-19 cases, he said India has supplied these medicines to more than 120 countries. He underlined that India has earned the reputation of reliable suppliers of medicines in the world. Mr. Gowda said the government has recently launched schemes for development of 7 mega parks, including 3 bulk drug parks and 4 medical devices parks across the country. He invited the investors to set up manufacturing base in India in the pharma sector.
The government today said that the country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 87.36%. In the last 24 hours, more than 81,000 COVID patients have recovered. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has reached over 63,83,000. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload has considerably reduced and currently comprises only 11.12% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 8,12,000. Currently, India's case fatality rate is 1.52%, which is one of the lowest globally. In the past 24 hours, 67,735 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 73 lakh. Over 11,36,000 COVID samples were tested in the country in the last 24 hours. With this, the cumulative testing figure has risen up to over 9,12,26,000. India's testing capacity has touched the 15 lakh per day mark, ensuring easily accessible COVID-19 tests for all. The Health Ministry has said that very high levels of testing lead to early identification, prompt isolation, and effective treatment of COVID-19 cases. It said this also leads to low fatality rate. Starting from just one testing lab at the National Institute of Virology, Pune, in January this year, the country today has 1,944 labs for testing COVID samples, which includes 1,111 government and 833 private labs. Despite the increase in testing, the positivity rate remains low and hovers around 8%.
A total of 3,324 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 3,17,000. Delhi government said that over 2,89,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 2,867 people recovered and 44 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 5,898. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 21,903. Telangana reported 1,432 new COVID-19 cases during the past 24 hours. With this, the total COVID cases in the state has gone up to 2,17,670. The state conducted over 38,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate also slightly improved to 88.76% with 1,949 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 1,93,218. The daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department stated that total deaths rose to 1,249 following death of 8 more people due to COVID and comorbidities during the past 24 hours.
The Instrumentation and Applied Physics Center in the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore has developed ICMR-approved mobile COVID-19 diagnostic lab to ramp up testing and reduce turnaround time. Rajesh Srinivasan, research scholar in the institute, spoke to AIR News on this new innovative mobile van.
This has divided into 3 parts of lab. So basically first is the collection, pre-processing and testing. So when they want to deploy this whole facility remote location, they can just send only the collection facility, the collection van, which has been equipped with a BSL 2 plus facility, which completely inactivates the sample and prevents the exposure of this contagious sample to the environment or anything and keeps the sample intact. And this is independent of power requirement. We have generator attached with that. So even in rural part where there's no provision for available of electricity or anything, still we'll be able to perform the test.
According to the WHO data, the number of COVID-infected cases has crossed 37.88 million worldwide. The World Bank has approved $12 billion in financing to help developing countries buy and distribute coronavirus vaccines, tests and treatments. It aims to support vaccination of up to 1 billion people. In another development, restrictions are being ramped up in parts of Europe in response to a rapid rise of COVID-19 infections.
Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes in the country are reopening from today with only 50% seating capacity. However, screening of films will not be allowed in containment zones. Cinema halls, theatres and multiplexes are going to resume their operations after a gap of nearly 7 months. New rules and restrictions have been set up for curbing the transmission of COVID-19 while resuming the operation. Adequate physical distancing of at least 6 feet, use of face masks and respiratory etiquettes have to be strictly followed by visitors and staff. Spitting will be punishable. Thermal screening is to be carried out at entry points and only asymptomatic individuals will be allowed to enter the premises. Hand sanitization will be made available at all entry points and work areas. Efforts will be made to avoid overcrowding in the common areas, lobbies and washrooms during intermission. Besides, the cinemas, theatres and multiplexes will be sanitized after screening. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari initiates simultaneous blasting for Zojila Tunnel in Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. Tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity between Srinagar Valley and Leh. Anti-pollution measures under Graded Response Action Plan come into force in Delhi NCR region. Indian pharma sector can go to a $65 billion industry by 2024, says Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister. Nation pays tribute to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his birth anniversary. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 87.36%. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
All India Radio presents Northeast Diary, glimpses of the news of the week from the northeastern states.
All about the region, a gateway to Southeast Asia, the developments and the destinations to look forward to.
News from the art, cultural and entertainment world of the northeastern states of India. All this and more.
Every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. in the evening on 100.1 All India Radio FM News Channel.
Welcome back. The 89th birth anniversary of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who served as the 11th President of India, is being celebrated today. In its tribute, Films Division is streaming a 52-minute English documentary titled People's President on its website and YouTube channel today. Meanwhile, United Nations is also celebrating Dr. Abdul Kalam's birth anniversary as World Students' Day. The theme of this year's celebration is Learning for People, Planet Prosperity and Peace. Born on 15th of October 1931, Dr. Kalam was an aerospace scientist who served for nearly 4 decades in the DRDO and ISRO. President Ramnath Kovind paid homage to Dr. Kalam at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also paid tributes to former President on his birth anniversary. In a series of tweets, he said, Dr. Kalam was an epitome of simplicity and knowledge. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid a tribute to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his birth anniversary. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, the country can never forget the indelible contributions of Dr. Kalam, both as a president and a scientist, towards national development. Home Minister Amit Shah and Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Zavadekar remembered Bharat Ratna Dr. Kalam on his birth anniversary today. Renowned Malayalam poet and Gyanpith laureate Mahakavi Akkidam Achyudam Nambudiri passed away at a private hospital in Thrissur in Kerala this morning. The 94-year-old poet was admitted to a hospital due to age-related ailments. Recently, he was conferred with the Gyanpith Award, the highest literary award in the country. The poet, who was instrumental in heralding modernism in Malayalam poetry, was also a true Gandhian, social reformer, journalist and an example of simplicity.
In Assam, the World Heritage Site Kaziranga National Park will be reopened for visitors on the 21st of this month. The park remained closed due to floods and COVID pandemic for the past few months. Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal will grace the opening ceremony. The director of the park, P. Shivakumar, however, said Kohora and Bagori ranges will be opened for visitors on the 21st of this month, while the remaining 2 ranges will be opened in November. Mr. Shivakumar also mentioned that Elephant Safari will start in November for the visitors. The Supreme Court today asked the Republic Media Group to approach the Bombay High Court in the television rating points TRP scam case registered by the Mumbai Police. A bench comprising Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Indu Malhotra and Indira Banerjee said the High Court has been working throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and the media group should approach it as its office is located at Worli. Senior advocate Harish Salve, appearing for the media house, expressed apprehension about the ongoing probe, saying of late there is a tendency that commissioners are giving interviews. The Mumbai police has registered a case in the TRP scam and summoned Republic TV's Chief Financial Officer S. Sundaram for investigation. The police have already arrested owners of channels Fakt Marathi and Box Cinema in the case. The plea in the Apex Court was filed by ARG Outlier Media Private Limited, which owns the Republic Media Network.
Bangladesh will not co-finance the Phase 3 trial of the corona vaccine being developed by the Chinese company Sinovac Biotech. Health Minister Zahid Malik has said that co-financing was not in the agreement and the company never asked for money when they approached the Bangladesh government. The minister said that Sinovac had agreed to bear all expenses and give 1.1 lakh free vaccines to the country, reports Reuters. They had also agreed to share the technology with Bangladesh pharmaceutical companies to make the vaccine. Health Minister Zahid Malik said that Bangladesh is in talks with at least 5 frontrunners for the vaccine, including AstraZeneca. In Indian Premier League cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore will take on Kings 11 Punjab at Sharjah Cricket Stadium this evening. The match will start at 7:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Delhi Capitals DC beat Rajasthan Royals RR by 13 runs at the Dubai International Stadium last night and climbed back to the top of the IPL points table. The winning team's fast bowler pacer Andrik Nortje, who took 2 wickets for 33 runs, was named player of the match. He also bowled the fastest ball of the tournament's history. Defending a total of 161 for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs, Delhi Capitals looked off the pace for much of the second innings, but the bowlers led by South African duo Nortje and Kagiso Rabada stifled the batting side for runs in the death overs to take the game away from them.
Today is International Day of Rural Women. The day recognizes the critical role and contribution of rural women, including indigenous women, in enhancing agriculture and rural development, improving food security, and eradicating rural poverty. In an exclusive interview to AIR News, the country director, International Fund for Agriculture Development, Dr. Rasha Omer, has underlined the role of women in fighting climate change and finding solutions for the impact of climate change.
Women are at the forefront of fighting climate change and finding solutions for these impacts of climate change. What we have seen, for example, in a state like Andhra Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh has already trained quite a lot of women to be internet savvy, and currently Andhra Pradesh is using this cadre of internet savvy to be able to collect information related to soil moisture, to communicate weather advisories to rural households so that they are better able to use the water and irrigation in a very effective and efficient manner.
For excerpts of the interview, listen to the Parikrama program on FM Gold channel in additional frequencies from 4:30 p.m. In Bihar, election campaigning has intensified. Star campaigners of BJP, JDU and left parties are addressing rallies in different parts of the state. RJD and Congress are yet to kickstart election rallies formally. In the first phase, polling will be held on 28th of October in 71 assembly constituencies spread over 16 districts. JDU President and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar addressed a rally at Chakai in Jamui district. Mr. Kumar said 15 years track record of his government shows how the positive changes happened in Bihar. Alleging RJD-led past governments, he said the main motto of the party was only making money. He alleged that RJD is a dynastic party who has no concern about state people. Mr. Kumar said for him the entire Bihar is his family. BJP President JP Nadda will address 2 election rallies in Karakat and Go Assembly constituencies. The CPIML, which is contesting on 19 seats under the umbrella of Grand Alliance, has also intensified its poll campaign. Party General Secretary Dipankar Bhattacharya addressed rallies in Paliganj and some other areas. Bahujan Samaj Party BSP and Rashtriya Lok Samta Party RLSP will hold joint rallies. BSP President Mayawati and RLSP Chief Upendra Kushwaha will address these rallies. Meanwhile, in the second phase of assembly elections, the process of nomination is at its peak in 94 assembly segments, as only 1 day is left for the process of nomination. More from our correspondent.
Sitting MLA of BJP, Nitin Naveen filed his nomination from Bankipur Assembly constituency. BJP candidate and son of Sikkim Governor Ganga Prasad, Sanjeev Chaurasia filed his nomination from Digha Assembly seat. This is the largest assembly constituency of Bihar in terms of number of electorates. Former State Minister Chandrika Rai submitted his nomination as JDU nominee from Parsa constituency in Saran district. He is a relative of RJD Chief Lalu Prasad. Enforcement of COVID-19 guidelines and management of the crowd has become very hard for agencies who are entrusted for this work. So far, 153 cases of violations of Model Code of Conduct have been registered. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
This is All India Radio giving you the news.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
अरे भाई, सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ,
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
Welcome back. In Odisha, thunder shower or light to moderate rainfall is likely to occur in several districts of the state today. The Regional Meteorological Center has forecast a thunderstorm with lightning at 1 or 2 places in about 7 out of 30 districts of the state. On the other hand, the twin cities of Bhubaneswar and Cuttack are also likely to experience light to moderate rain or thunder shower with 1 or 2 spells of intense rainfall. The capital city of Bhubaneswar is already experiencing a good amount of rainfall since morning today. The incessant rain has wreaked havoc in Andhra Pradesh. Nearly 371 villages were affected by the floods and about 1,470 kilometers of roads were damaged. 10 people died in rain-related incidents in the state in the last 2 days. The centre is closely monitoring the situation in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh in the wake of heavy rainfall. Home Minister Amit Shah said that the Union government is committed to provide all possible assistance to the people of both the states in this hour of need. In Telangana, at least 15 persons died in rain-related incidents in Hyderabad in the past 3 days when heavy rains battered the state capital and several people have been missing. Over 44,000 people have been shifted to 64 relief camps from the low-lying areas and rain-affected areas in and around Hyderabad. Municipal Administration Minister K. Tarak Rama Rao has directed officials to take all precautionary measures to prevent outbursts of communicable diseases. More from our correspondent.
People in Telangana, especially in its capital city Hyderabad, have got little respite from rains from this morning. However, the floodwater continues storming several residential colonies. Waterlogging, especially the residential areas close to water bodies, continue. Meanwhile, relief operations have gained momentum while the Army, National Disaster Management Forces and local authorities are taking part in the relief works in rain-affected areas. The restoration works are also underway. Minister of State for Home, G. Kishan Reddy, is visiting various rain-affected areas in Hyderabad. He assured that the government will extend all possible help to the affected families. In other parts of the state, the district authorities have begun enumerating losses, especially crop losses in the rain-affected districts. Special attention is being given for preventive measures to arrest the spread of communicable diseases. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
Meanwhile, Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao has called for a review meeting with all concerned ministers and senior officials.
The centre is closely monitoring the situation in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh in the wake of heavy rainfall. Home Minister Amit Shah has said the union government is committed to providing all possible assistance to the people of both the states in this hour of need. He also said his thoughts and prayers are with those affected. The heavy rains that lashed Hyderabad and other parts of the state left a trail of destruction. Normal life has been thrown out of gear despite a little respite in heavy rains as the depression moved west-northwestwards from Hyderabad. Met officials informed that over 10 centimeters of rainfall was recorded during the past 24 hours in Hyderabad and surrounding places. Local authorities informed that 6 more people died yesterday, taking the rain-related toll during the past 3 days to 18. The Indian Met Department IMD has issued a red alert for Mumbai for tomorrow while an orange alert for today, with thunderstorm accompanied by lightning, gusty winds and rains for Thane and Palghar districts along with parts of coastal Maharashtra. The Regional Met Center RMC Mumbai has said with the latest satellite and radar observations, the entire North Konkan is updated to orange with Raigad on red alert for today.
And now let's take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi will witness haze. The minimum temperature was recorded at 20 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 34 degrees. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 28 degrees Celsius. In Chennai, there will be partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 27 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature in the city was 28 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 35 degrees Celsius. On to the north in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 35 degrees Celsius. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear. Leh in Ladakh will have mainly clear sky as well. Gilgit will experience mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 8 and 25 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 12 degrees while maximum will be around 30 degrees Celsius. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari initiates simultaneous blasting for Zorjila Tunnel in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity between Srinagar Valley and Leh. Anti-pollution measures under Graded Response Action Plan come into force in Delhi NCR region. Indian pharma sector can grow to a $65 billion industry by 2024, says Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister. Nation pays tribute to Dr. APJ Kalam on his birth anniversary. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 87.36%. And in IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.